I'd like to now introduce Eddie Lane, who is the Sales and Marketing Manager for Cold Logistic Industrial Refrigeration. Over to you.
All right, well, I'm not an engineer, and I've been told I do talk a lot, so... Look, I just really wanted to give you a bit of a snapshot, very briefly, around what our journey has been at Cold Logic and some of the things that I've learnt on my path, not only with this business, but with previous businesses, and some just little nuggets of gold, little takeaways that you guys can go back into your business, reflect on. These are little things that it's certainly made a huge difference in my management style, and has affected the whole culture of our business. So, look, to start with, and there was a lot really given today, I guess, with Jenny's presentation, and you know, a huge amount of information to take out of that. But I think one thing that I've always recognised myself is that you can smell a culture, you can feel it, you can feel the energy in the air. And there was a person that told me many years ago, said, you know, look at your culture, look how you manage, and you know, does your culture smell good, or does it stink? You know, you've really got to have a good look at it and say, you know, where does that sit? So, you know, there's always going to be improvements, but you know, you've really got to take a good look at where you currently sit. We did this journey about 3 years ago at Cold Logic, and we took a step back and said, look, there is some genuine improvements we can make. It was a good business, but we really could make some genuine improvements. And one thing we looked at was we really wanted to win the hearts and minds of our people. So really, we wanted to get to the heart of what is our value system, and we just did two simple things. We looked at what do we value and what we don't value. And by just generating those two lists, it was really powerful for our people, because you just straight away distill down, this is what it looks like to be in our organisation and to be part of that value structure, and this is what we don't. This is what we don't want. So really two powerful things there. The other little nugget of gold that I've got for you is a thing called TNTs. It's the tiny noticeable things. What to a leader might not seem a big thing, to somebody else can be quite a big thing for them. And you've really got to sometimes dig around to work out what that is. It's something that they don't often will bring up and mention, but if you do dig around, you'll find these little bits of success, and you've got to recognise them. And the other thing which I learnt was it's called a tip and run. You know, if you like cricket, it's a tippy go sort of thing, and as you're going past, it's these little things which you can just put a hand on the back and say, hey, that's fantastic, great job, and you just keep walking, and the reaction sometimes you get is like, wow, that's really powerful, and a lot of people have said that it's one thing that they appreciate is me just noticing those small things. Probably leads on to my next point around a person who feels appreciated will always do more than that was expected of them, and it's that discretionary effort. You know, just doing those small things, it comes back to that winning the hearts and minds. And you talk about hearts being the attraction to the value system, but the mind is also being completely engaged in what they do through work. Another thing which I learned, which is a nice thing to always remain with me, is a leader is always on stage and the microphone is always on. So everything you do as a leader reverberates right through the business. And yeah, sometimes you could think that you, as you said, Jenny, you know, you might not see that it's been a big thing, but to others, they will see through it. So I always talk about to our leadership team, and which forms our culture, is when you walk in the door, leave the baggage at the door and walk in with a really positive attitude, and the fact that it is, you know, you're focused on what the task at hand is. It's our job as leaders to portray that right through the business, and we draw on that energy. And you know, when you don't have that right energy through the business, particularly with your leadership group, it's a real handbrake. Probably the last thing which I wanted to mention is our journey on conducting one-on-ones. So every person in the organisation from top to bottom has a monthly one-on-one with a direct report. And what it really has led us and really empowered our people and led us to a whole new level of culture is getting to know them as individuals and getting that connection. And I'll give you one story where I used this in a previous business. Thought I had a very good relationship until we engaged these one-on-ones and found out that there was a whole underlying issue that she was going through. And the one-on-ones over time built a level of trust between us. And she was one of our senior managers in our business. And she says still to this day, it was a crossroad for her in her journey and what was going on personally in her life. And she said that changed her. And she talks about it, through other organisations, through that organisation, the power of being connected to your direct report. And I helped her through. I wasn't the best person to solve all her issues, but the fact that I was there listening and the loyalty that it brought and the culture that brought around our whole leadership team was very powerful. So I can vouch for the fact that, one-on-ones, we do a one-on-one every month, and every quarter we'll look at the performance, but the one-on-one is purely trying to get to a personal level, is how things are going professionally and personally, what's going on in their lives, because what you'll find is your culture is based on what they bring to the table every day, and if they've got issues that are clouding that, then you're not getting the best out of that person. So that was one other massive change that we've seen to our business, and I can vouch for the impact it has. That's probably the little snippets of gold, if you call them that, that I've learned along the way. So thanks.
Thank you, Eddie. That was fantastic, and